Why are you doing this? What kind of men are you?
You know why we're doing this. We told you to sell your land, but you wouldn't listen to us. Now you're gonna pay. Burn the house down!
I wouldn't do that if I were you. Sir, would you mind getting off of the house? We're trying to burn it down.
Can I shoot him? No. Let's see what he wants. What I want is for you to leave this family alone. Or else you will have to face down this sharp sword and equally trenchant wit of Legando.
What does trenchant mean?
I assume that you are Legando? Si, I am Legando. Okay, just making sure. Shoot him! Yeah, aha! Monsieur, why are you so slow? Do you have a debilitating illness? Shut up! I would have expected better from such thugs. Ah well.
Sir, you have saved my family and my land. How can I ever repay you?
Your thanks is all the repayment I need, senor. Tell me, why were these men bothering you?
They were working for Mr. Gray. He's a wealthy businessman that wants to take our land. I don't know why. Our land is barren. It gets harder to grow crops here every year.
Do not worry, mynheer. I will get to the bottom of this problem. Now, where is this Mr. Gray?
About 2 hours travel that way.
Dos grandes ventanas, I'm off!
Who was that man, father?
I do not know who he is, son, but I do know this. He is a good man. In a world where man keeps killing man, and the rich oppress the poor, it is always good to have a hero, a man to fight for the underdogs, no matter what happens.
You seem nuttier than a fruitcake. They usually do.
Legando, Legando. When in need of a hero, in a time of great need, there is one man you can count on to always take heed. Legando, it is actually not really his name, but the adventures of Clarence sounds truly quite lame. So now he goes by Legando, Legando, Legando. He's not really Spanish.
Can I help you? Ah, my good man, yes. I'm afraid that I've had a spot of trouble out on the road. See here, my carriage out on yonder road came up with a broken wheel, and I'm going to need someone to fix it into tip-top shape right away.
Are you okay, sir?
No, by golly, I am not. I need somebody to come out and fix my carriage.
That was not believable at all, was it?
It was kind of sad.
Aha, the sapiente in its lair. This must be his study.
saying is that why did they even put us on the roof? If someone is going to try and break in the house, they would come in from the sides instead of the top.
I think the purpose is that we can see people approaching the house before the other guards can.
But it is pitch black out there. We can't see any farther than the rest of them.
Maybe it is so we have a better spot to shoot fleeing robbers.
Es un día frío.
What was that?
Probably just a rat.
I don't think so. We should check it out.
Okay, don't panic, don't panic.
If you are so concerned about it, why don't you go over there and look?
We had a deal, Richard.
I take all the noises on the north and west sides of the house, and you take all the noises on the south and east. You know what? Fine. Yeah, fine. You win, Franklin. You win. Good. Great. I'm going to walk all the way over there to see the rat that knocked a stone off of the house.
Why don't you get going?
I am. Here I go. Hey, guess what, Franklin? There's nothing there. Are you sure? If it was a prowler, they could have easily gone in through a window. Maybe we should. There is nothing there. Fine. Whatever.
Mi experiencia de shock. So that is why Mr. Gray wants the farm.
That's him. That's the man who knocked me unconscious. Thank you, Edward. You may leave now. What is your name, thief? I am no thief, comrade. I am the ever undaunted Legando, defender of the downtrodden and fighter of the foul. That's wonderful. Richard, tell Signor Malachor to prepare a space for our guest in the cellar. I would like for him to entertain Mr. Legando for a while before we turn him over to the authorities. Now, Mr. Legando, why?
Uno momento, por favor. Your lantern.
What about my lantern?
Well, you see, in 5 minutes or so, I am going to do a daring escape.
What?
And you see, the past 5 times I've done that, someone has always dropped a candle or a lantern, and then the entire building catches fire, and then I have to leap through the flames to safety. It's dramatic, but the smoke always hurts my lungs, so could you please extinguish your lantern to prevent that from happening? That way my lungs are safe, and your house doesn't catch fire. Everybody wins.
Do you take me for some sort of idiot? I am not going to turn off my only source of light.
Actually, boss, you may have a point.
What?
I worked for a bunch of other wealthy men before I came to you, and any time they fought a vigilante in their home, their house would always catch fire.
How many times did that happen to your employers?
All the time. One guy had it happen to him twice in 1 month.
Enough. The lantern stays on. Mr. Richard, I believe I told you to tell Signor Malachor about our thief here.
I thought I would bring the guy to him at the same time I told him.
Stay back!
Hey, Buona, you might want to get out of here. The building's on fire.
I knew it! This always happens. I'll get Richard up and we'll get out of here.
Good.
I must warn you, Mr. Legando, I was trained by the great fencing master Louis Rondel himself.
And I must warn you, Mr. Gray, that I fight not for greed or power, but to protect the innocent from scum like you, and if necessary, I will give my life to accomplish that goal. So on guard, you snake! If the smoke was not hampering my lungs right now, I would have beaten you already. I am sure you would have. There is no use running. There is nowhere you can hide from her. I really hope you are not having company over later. I cannot imagine how you are going to explain this. Shut up! Do you want to exchange some witty banter? I have a couple of one-liners prepared. Shut up! How about you say, I will destroy you? I have a great comeback to that one. For the final time, shut up. I still blame the smoke. Now, Mr. Legando, as you said, I will now destroy you. Now you listen here, Mr. Gray. You have lost your mansion, but it can be rebuilt. However, if I hear about you bothering those farmers again, I will make sure your suffering is a little bit more permanent. Hasta luego.
Father, look! What is it? Legando, what are you doing here?
I just had an interesting chat with Mr. Gray. I do not think he will bother you anymore.
Why, this is wonderful! Thank you, sir! Thank you! How can I ever repay you?
I do not need repayment, senor. The knowledge of your family's safety is good enough. However, as a favor, I think you should look over this document.
Legando? Are you sure Mr. Gray will leave us alone?
I am certain he will.
But why did you help us? We are complete strangers, yet you could have died trying to protect us.
In these harsh times, someone has to set an example. Someone has to show that the rich and powerful cannot get whatever they want. They cannot torture those below them for their own personal gain. To answer your question, I did it because it is the right thing to do.
But right and wrong is entirely a matter of perception. What I think is right might be different from what you think is right.
Yes, in some areas, but there are certain things that are natural for all humans. We need these things to form societies so we can be protected. For example, the right to life, liberty, and property is necessary for society to function. Ergo, we can say that supporting these ideas is good.
I see you quote Locke's theories. However, you seem to be conveniently ignoring his concept of tabula rasa. If all our knowledge comes from experiences, how can you say some things are natural for all humans?
You have made a logical error. Though I did in fact quote Locke, I never said that I agree with all of his viewpoints. Through your argument, you could say that I also shared his belief in the slave trade.
What about the Legando? Is this map for real?
Indeed it is.
Then we're rich.
Indeed you are. Now, if you excuse me, I must be off.
What about the theories of Thomas Hobbes?
Hobbes was a grouchy cynic.